Bye. Okay, good morning students. Today we'll be talking about living organisms where we'll be learning about plants and animals. ठीक sir? There are lots of plants and animals around us, or we can say there are lots of living organisms. Some have been divided into living plants kingdom, and some have been divided into animals kingdom. So we'll be learning about the difference of these plants kingdoms and the animals kingdoms. Okay. So in our living earth, there are lots of living creatures. So all the living creatures are known as a biology, or we can say the branches of science that deals with the study of a living organism is known as a biology. Okay. So biology अंतर्गत आज हामी पढ्दैछौँ plants and animals both are living organisms, but there might be something difference between plants and animals. So you can see the first point I have written. They do not have, let me talk about from the plants. As a plants start गर्दैछु म, then I'll move on to the animals. So plants, they do not move from one place to another. Have you seen a plant is moving from one place to another? Can it move? Of course not. That's why we can say plants cannot move from one place to another. It can move its body, it can move its leaves, sticks, but only some of the plants, like touch-me-not plants, they can move for certain times, certain moments, or sunflower, which moves towards the sun face. So some of the plants can move, but not from one place to another. Only they can move their body and body parts. Okay. So, but animals can move from one place to another because animals have forelimbs and hind limbs, or we can say they have a legs that helps them to move from one place to another. Or there are some other organisms which can crawl on land. They can crawl by their body, by their skins, right? So some can jump, some can fly, some can run, some can walk, some can climb. So that's how animals can move from one place to another. They need to move from one place to another because they need to have a food also, and to source the food, to source the shelter, they need to move from one place to another. But for the plants, they do not need to source the food. They can prepare their food by themselves. That's why they don't need to move from one place to another. That's why, and they are not moving from here to there. Okay. So let me move on to this next point. They can manufacture food themselves by photosynthesis process. They take food from plants or other animals. Right? So plants plants can manufacture their food by themselves because plants will not move from here to there. That means they need to grow up, they need to have something energy. So for that, what would they do? They will take the sunlight, they will take the minerals and water from the ground, from their roots, and they will take carbon dioxide from the human breathing. So they will collect that, all of them, and they will make a photosynthesis process, and they will cook the food by themselves, and that's how they eat and they grow up. But in another hand, animals, they do not prepare their food because animals cannot prepare their food by the sunlight or the water because animals do not have roots, we can say. But what can the animals do? Animals can source the food. They can source from anywhere. They can go from one place to another and they source their food. And if they find their prey and their foods, they will eat up. Or we can say they take food from other animals or other plants because some herbivorous animals eat grass. That means they take the food from plants. And some carnivorous animals, they take food from other animals. They eat the herbivorous animals like deer, other pig, deer. So उहाँहरूले चाहिँ के गर्नुहुन्छ? They will kill other animals and they make their food. That's how they eat the food. But plants, they prepare their food by themselves. They don't need to be depending on other animals or another plant. They are depending on sunlight and the carbon dioxide and the water, and they can prepare their food by themselves. Okay. So let's move on to the third point. They are less sensitive. They are more sensitive. Our plants are less sensitive. They are very less sensitive means we can के भन्नु, प्लान्ट्सलाई चाहिँ हामीले इजिली के गर्न सक्छौँ, ब्रोक गर्न सक्छौँ. but they are more sensitive. Animals are more sensitive than the plants. ठीक छ, plants को comparison मा animals लाई हेर्ने भने चाहिँ animals are more sensitive. Okay, because के भन्छ, animals need to walk, they need to eat, they need to take care of themselves, they need to take care of their body, their cells. That's why they are very sensitive. But the plants, they are less sensitive because they can prepare food by themselves, and they don't need to run here and there. They will not get injured properly. So in that case, we can say they are less sensitive and they are more sensitive for that. Okay. And in another hand, growth is unlimited for the plants. Plants can be as much longer as they can. There is no limitations for the plant, we can say, because you might have seen a small grass and you might have seen a big trees also. So have you seen the trees are in same size, the grass are in same size, they are in a different size, different colors, different size. So we cannot say the growth of it is limited. We can say the growth can be anything or as much as they want. So plants भनेको डिफरेन्ट साइजको हुन्छ, कुनै सानो घाँसको हुन्छ, कुनै हर्ब्स हुन्छ, कुनै सब्स हुन्छ, कुनै बिग टल ट्रिज हुन्छ. सो द ग्रोथ इज अनलिमिटेड फर देम. ओके, यति नै हुन्छ भन्न चाहिँ हामी सक्दैनौँ प्लान्ट्सको चाहिँ. बट इन एनिमल्स ग्रोथ इज लिमिटेड. जस्तै यु माइट ह्याभ सिन अ डग. हेभ यु सिन अ डग इज लाइक अ बिग लाइक एन एलिफेन्ट? नो. हेभ यु सिन अ डग इज लाइक एन जेब्रा जत्रो, अथवा जिराफ. Have you seen a giraffe? The dog कहिले जिराफ जत्रो हुन सक्छ त? सक्दैन. That's why the growth of animal is limited. Or any giraffe can be smaller like a dog? No. Or can any rhino can be small like a dog? No. So we can say the growth of the animals is limited. उहाँहरुको जातले, उहाँहरुको क्याटेगोरीजले जस्तो खालको बडी स्ट्रक्चर्स पाएको छ, उहाँहरुको ग्रोथ अफ साइज पनि त्यति नै हुन्छ. जस्तै टाइगर्सको क्याटेगोरीमा हेर्नुहुन्छ भने टाइगर्सहरु नर्मली एउटै रेन्जको हुन्छन्, थोरै तलमाथि हुन्छ. बट टाइगर क्यान नट बी द बिगेस्ट लाइक द एलिफेन्ट. बट एलिफेन्ट के सानो हुन सक्छ? सक्दैन. र टाइगर ठुलो हुन सक्दैन. उनीहरुको साइज चाहिँ अथवा ग्रोथ चाहिँ लिमिटेड हुन्छ. ओके, so let's move on to the second last point, reproductions by seeds, leaf, stem or roots. There are different and lots of plants around us. So all the plants, they reproduce. Some of them reproduce by the seeds. Reproduction भनेको नयाँ प्लान्ट चाहिँ उहाँहरुको कहाँबाट आउँछ भन्दा कुनै सीड्सबाट आउँछ, सीडलिङ हुँदै. देन आफ्टर कुनै प्लान्ट्सहरु लिफबाट आउँछ, हैन? कुनै प्लान्ट्सको रिप्रोडक्सन चाहिँ केबाट आउँछ? लिफबाट हुन्छ. Some plants reproduce by the stem and some plants reproduce by the roots. So according to the features of the plants, according to the habitat of the plants, they reproduce the another plants by themselves with the help of seeds, leaves, stem or roots, we can say. Okay, but in the animals kingdom, reproduction by laying eggs. Animals ले चाहिँ के गर्नुहुन्छ? They reproduce the young ones by laying eggs. So while giving a birth, they have to reproduce by laying eggs. I'm talking about animals, right? That's why some of they lay eggs and some give direct birth. पनि भनेको छ, जस्तै mammals, all the mammals give direct birth and all the oviparous gives the legs. Okay, and that's how they reproduce their young ones. They reproduce their baby by the baby fragments of baby. Birth of baby or fragmentations of the baby. ठिक छ? बडी. And some चाहिँ आफ्नै बडीको fragmentations बाट पनि बेबीहरु reproduce हुन्छ in animals kingdom. Okay? So the last point, they consist of chlorophyll. Plants consist of chlorophyll. I think we have learned about chlorophyll already, because chlorophyll भनेको के हो त? It's a green color pigment which we found on leaf. Leaf मा पाइने plants have a green color pigment huncha. That pigment is known as chlorophyll. That helps them to cook, that helps them to prepare their food for the plants. But animals do not consist any kind of chlorophyll, because they don't need to make their food by themselves. They can find in another plants, or they can eat another plants, or they can kill another animals and they can eat the meat of that animal. So that's how, and that's why they do not consist of any kinds of chlorophyll. But plants does, because plants need to prepare the food by themselves, and for that they need a chlorophyll. So these are the most important difference and basic difference between plants and animals in the chapter of living organisms. So children, please make a note for this one. Try to read this, try to learn this, and if there is any confusion regarding this chapter, regarding this topic, will be concerning in our coming classes. For today, thank you so much.